Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
What's going on, everybody? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster, and this is Viewers Anonymous, man. How you feeling today, man? You good?
Man, I can't complain, man. You know what I'm saying? Another episode ready to get put down in the books. I'm excited about this one, man. You know what I'm saying? We did a great trailer on the last episode. You know what I'm saying? You helped me make a nice realization of who the author was of this book, and I guess you could say this movie as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty hyped about this one, man.
Yes, sir, man. Same here, man. This was one of those movies where, I think that we should pretty much do the same format we did the last time because It's just like it's one of those movies that's like there's a deeper meaning to the story. You know what I'm saying? So I think that once we get into the deeper meaning, because it's a comparison that I have, and I saved it until we started recording. Okay. So I wanted to tell you. So I can, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if I catch you off guard because you might have thought of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like before I get into it. And what we're talking about is the 97 film, Kiss the Girl, man. And it was based off a book by James Patterson. So, and like you were saying, because I remember my sister had a run where she was just running through every James Patterson book. And so speaking of that, do you think this is true? All right, I heard something when it comes to people like James Patterson and Stephen King and like these type of authors that be putting out books, like at the rate that they be putting out books. I heard through the grapevine that they don't be writing them books. Have you ever heard of like there being like these ghost writers and like these people like James Patterson? And now I'm not trying to start any accusations. I'm just saying this is something that I heard. Yeah. That like people like him and like Stephen King like be putting out these books and like other people be writing them, but they just put their stamp. I guess they read it and put their stamp on it and say they written it and all this type of shit. Have you ever heard any shit like that before?
Yeah, it's not far-fetched. Like in the world of writing, I know that when people write books, some people don't actually write the book. What they do is they tell you the premise, they give you everything, and then somebody else will write it up. Because I guess it's like a certain format or something that you have to write it into. And a lot of people don't know how to, type and make it an actual format. But like, I know, who was it? I know like Charlemagne, he talked about it on Brilliant Idiots to where, him and Chris Morrow got together and he basically gave Chris Morrow the story and Chris Morrow just basically typed it up for him in the format that it was supposed to be in order for them to, send it in and basically get it approved to be an actual book. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like, they were coming up with the stories and they had like somebody actually doing the work for them.
Cool. It was just something that I had ran across. I don't even remember where I seen that at or read that at. But
were they saying that like film, man? Were they saying that like they was like just having somebody create it and then they was like, yeah, this is good?
No, I think it was what you said. Because the reason that these people even brought it up because they was like James Patterson and Stephen King was at a rate where they was putting out books like 2 books a year type of shit. Yeah. And they were saying that what is going around is that they're not really actually like writing these books. Like I'm pretty sure they're probably coming up with the idea and the concept and coming up with like the outline of what it is and like
then everybody else just put it together.
Filling in the lines.
Yeah, because they say it take like a year to 2 to write an actual book. Like I don't know if you ever seen what's that Johnny Depp movie where he was the author?
Secret Window.
The Secret Window, yeah.
I just watched that shit the other day. That is a great movie, man.
Yeah, like if you ever watched that, remember he had to go off and go somewhere else just to be able to sit down and, you know what I'm saying, write the movie. So
he ended up being crazy as hell. This motherfucker arguing with somebody that ain't even him. This is their alter ego shit.
Wow,
hey man, that shit was hilarious, but
wow shit.
Oh man, yeah, but that's a good movie though. Mm-hmm. But man, you got some big people in here, man. Like we said the last week, a whole legend out here, man. Morgan Freeman. I gave Ashley Judd the nod that she could be considered. You know what I'm saying? A legend to some. I mean, this had Bill Nunn in it, Brian Cox, our boy Richard T. Jones when he had a fade, man. He ain't had a bald head yet.
He ain't had a baldy yet.
Yeah, he ain't had a body yet, man. That was so funny to see him in this joint. But yeah, he was playing the boyfriend of Dr. Cross's niece, and like basically the outline is so Dr. Alice Cross.
Wait, real quick, you forgetting some people. Jeremy Piven was in this joint.
Yeah,
Tatiana Ali was in this joint. Mina Savari was in this joint. Who else was in it? And then I forgot what her name is. I think that is her. I think that's the girl from what's that movie called?
I know you're talking about your girl from Soul Food.
No. The chick that I'm talking about. Oh yeah, you talking about Anna Maria Horford? Yep, she in it too. She was in the Wayans Brothers. She played Dee from Wayans Brothers. She was in it. But the chick that I'm talking about, she played in American Beauty. Remember, she was the daughter's best friend that he had the affair with.
Oh man, she was in this joint. Well, she had to be a kid.
She was in this joint too. She was. Let me see who they got her listed at. Because when I seen her face, I was like, damn, I didn't know she was in it. She was some person named Cody Pierce.
Dang, she had to be a kid. 97, because she's got to be like around my age. Or a little bit older. Dang, she was in this joint. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. But I remember her from American Beauty because that was one of the movies that I had snuck and watched. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that movie was crazy, but it was good though. It was good.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey killed that shit.
It's not a good look now that Kevin Spacey played that type of character.
Oh, well, yeah, nah. Not at all.
Now, look, hindsight being 2020, he shouldn't have been playing that role.
Yo, it was weird. It was already weird anyway, though. Like, I don't want to get off track, but it was already weird, like, because remember in the movie, his daughter was a teenager, a cheerleader. And remember when they went to go see him do the little joint, and like he was sitting in the bleachers, and then he was just like envisioning her doing like some weird ass dance with all that little shit. I'm like, yo, like niggas, she's in high school. That shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah, man, that was crazy, boy. Like that was a wild shit. But that movie, it won a lot of awards, man. Like that movie, it was big that year.
That was a fucking.
As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, when we did the Blair Witch Project, and I was naming all the movies that came out in '99, I think American Beauty was one of them.
Yeah,
I think that movie came out in '99.
You are definitely right.
Yeah, man. So that was a wild movie, man. That movie was good, man. That could be a future one, man. It definitely could, because that movie was wild, man. It's some crazy shit that happened in that.
Man.
But like so basically Dr. Alice Cross, man, you know, he's this psychiatrist type of / negotiator type of cop. Mm-hmm. And basically in a nutshell what ended up happening, he went to talk to his sister because they found out that his niece was kidnapped. And, she was missing. Well, it came out that she was missing. And so he's in D.C., but then he travels down to Raleigh, North Carolina to go see some cops down there, and come to find out there's a lot of girls that are going missing around his niece's age. And then one body ended up being found, it was tied up a real crazy type of way. And then he started letting his mind work. He starts to believe that these girls are alive and this guy is keeping them. And then he realizes that all of these girls have like, not special skills, but they have a talent. Like he's not just picking just random like drunk girls at a bar. Like he's picking girls, like his niece played the violin. You know what I'm saying? And like Ashley Judd character Kate, she was a doctor. So like he took girls that was, either smart or very talented in other situations, but also they had to be beautiful at the same time. So so throughout Ashley Judd's character Kate ended up escaping, and so then she's working with Dr. Cross and Richard T. Jones, which is played Seth, helping them trying to catch the dude so they can find where the rest of the girls are and all of that type of stuff. So, and then that's when Jeremy Piven character ended up coming in as well. And so then basically to wrap it up, they ended up finding the cave where the dude had all these girls locked up at. And that's where Naomi Cross was. And they was looking for the dude named Casanova. And so they ended up thinking that the guy was another guy. And this was your boy from Scandal. They thought it was him. Now he was in on it. He was in on it, but he wasn't the main guy. He wasn't, quote unquote Casanova. And then he had when they thought it was over, Dr. Cross felt something was weird, and he got to looking through stuff and then realized that the cop that he was working with the whole time, this cop named Nick, he did the signature when he was writing stuff, and he noticed that he did the same thing, and he found out like, yo, that's the dude that's actually Casanova. So then he goes over to Kate's house. He's over there trying to kill her, and so he pretty much solved the case. So like that's basically the movie. All right, so this is what I wanted to talk about. Now, when it comes to the guy that played Casanova, strange character. To me, it reminds me of some shit that would be, all right, Mind Hunters.
Okay.
Hear me out. So you got this guy. He grabs these not just regular girls who have a career, girls that got a future, the girls that got talent, and like he puts them, he locks them up, and he wants them to tell him that they love him, and they never show it, but I think that he was having sex with these girls as well.
Yeah.
But so he wants these girls to kind of be like his slaves, and he wants them to entertain him. He wants them to have conversation with him. He wants them to do all of these things that he probably couldn't get a girlfriend to do. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like psychologically he had this thing going on in his head where I don't know if he wasn't confident enough, because you got to remember, he wore a mask the whole time that he was in front of these girls. Even though the whole intentions was when he got done with the girls, he was going to kill them anyway. So why are you wearing a mask and you wearing gloves when you interacting with these girls? So I felt like, do you feel that he had like this, I don't know if it was a self-confidence issue or if it was just one of those type issues where like these people, like when we did the episode Mind Hunters, like, do you think that he fit in like with some of those characters with the type of crime that he was doing?
I think he did. If you really go back and just read about a lot of the people who, you know what I'm saying, like especially in Mindhunters, a lot of the people that they were featuring as the serial killers and the, you know what I'm saying, like the most wanted, you know what I'm saying, FBI most wanted list guys. Like if you go back and read like the stuff that they did and the things that they were doing it around, if you ever notice, like, especially in, you know what I'm saying, when they were showing like the interview parts in Mindhunters, if you ever really noticed, everything was always about attention. Everything was always about self-esteem. Like, these are usually guys who always feel like inadequate at everything that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, in high school, they weren't really talkative. Sometimes they didn't have like a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were always considered like the weird guy, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they would be the dropout. You know what I mean? Like, they come from, you know what I'm saying, real bad homes where, you know, maybe the mom and dad are divorced, or the mom is strung out on drugs, or the dad is strung out on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Abusive households. Excuse me. It's like a number of factors that go into it. But as they get older, you know, they kind of keep that mentality, because in a way, you know what I'm saying, like, that causes like a trauma in a sense. Like, it causes a mental trauma. So I think that what they end up doing, and I notice, like, even when they do like documentaries and stuff about serial killers and criminals and all that, a lot of their problems end up stemming from childhood. And so usually when those situations happen, it's like they never felt loved enough, or, you know what I'm saying, they went through a rough childhood to where they were getting beat by their parents and stuff like that. So I feel like it's always like, but yeah, it seems as if, you know what I'm saying, like, it's always a guy who seems to be looking for attention at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, man. Like, he seemed to be like, you know, an interesting character. Then it turned out to be the detective guy, which was, you know, it kind of threw you off. It kind of threw you for a loop, because it was the main detective guy, and it was one of those type situations where you are chasing yourself. Like, so you get the thrill of like, y'all are never gonna catch this guy because I know everything that y'all know. I'm like the investigation of who y'all are investigating. So that made it seem to be the quote unquote perfect crime, but he also thought that he could outsmart Dr. Cross. But this dude had so much experience in the game, and his mind was so well, like, it took us some time, because we all thought it was over. Like, he was just in his room chilling. He was on the phone talking to his sister, and then he gets off the phone, and then like he's like, something don't feel right. He was like, just something about it. Like, it just didn't end the way. I think it was like he felt that it should have ended a different kind of way, and he got to going back and looking at stuff and figured it out that it ended up being a cop. But I think that what made Kate so special was the fact of, like, okay, so I got to mention this one scene, right? So she leaves work, you know, after having to do surgery on this girl who was on the back of a bike with a father and busted her head and all this type shit. So she goes and she does like this kickboxing class with Billy Blanks as the damn dude.
Yeah, I forgot Billy Blanks was in it.
Hey, well, Billy Blanks made all kind of special appearances in movies, man. Like, it'd be real quick, but yeah, that shit, wow. And so he was in that, and he was the director. And like, dude, like, the dude, like, I understand, like, you give her a little contact, but like, my man tried to beat her ass in there, man. Like, he seemed like that scene was kind of weird, because it was like, even the way he was looking at her, because like they was going, like, he was, you know, throwing some jabs or whatever. She was throwing some jabs, some kicks or whatnot. And then my man just caught her one to the ribs and then kneed her in the stomach. I'm like, damn, dude, that ain't something. Like, and all Billy Blanks was saying, like, hey, watch the contact. And like, that was it? Like, that's it? Like, I don't know, man. That was a strange scene, man. Strange scene. But like, so because he said that, like, there was a scene where when he first caught her, and he knew she was going to be a hassle, because he ended up putting her fish tank at the end of the steps when she got away. She ran into the fish tank. So he had her laying in the bed tied up. And so then he gave her another shot, and then he took a picture of her and sent it to the other guy. And he was just saying that, like, this girl is very special. There's something really special about her. And, like, she ended up being very monumental in being able to catch them because she was able to escape. Like, she faked this whole thing of, like, she started eating the sandwich, and she acted like the sandwich, like, hurt her stomach or whatever. And he had this strange thing with rules. He was like, you know, you follow my rules, you know, you're going to be good. And, like, and she broke the rule by throwing a plate or whatever. And she was acting like she was, like, throwing up. And then he was coming in, and he goes to give her a shot. And then, because he told her in the very beginning, don't do your kickboxing stuff on me. He was like, you know, that stuff is against the rules and all of that. So she was able to, you know what I'm saying, pull a move on him, run through the cave and find her way out. And then she ended up jumping in the, in like this water, like this waterfall, like stream type of thing. And like, so she went back and started helping like Dr. Cross, trying to go back and get this girl because she did, like, one thing that was against the rules was you didn't supposed to talk to nobody. And so, like, she had, like, before she broke out, like, she started, like, saying, like, I know there's somebody else in here, nah. So the girls were scared to talk at first. And then after she kept saying, like, somebody say something, and finally the girls start saying their name. And so Naomi Cross had said her name. And then when Dr. Cross had said, you know, do you know who was all in there? And then he told him that he was looking for his niece, Naomi Cross, and she was like, she was there. So she went back and started helping them solve this type of crime. And then, you know what I'm saying, Samson, which is played by Bill Nunn, he was, you know, also involved. He came down and he helped as well. So, like, this movie, like, when I think about it, like, it's one of those movies that really, really go under the radar. I think that it's not something that people will. It's like, I think it really depends on what type of person you like, not person, but type of movie you like. Because I like mystery type of movies where people got to put the pieces together to try to figure out the things like that. And then I also like movies where you got, like, I mean, obviously when we did our top 5, I did The Negotiator, which was played by, you know, a cop that was a negotiator. So obviously he had a great brain. And then you think about The Bone Collector, which he played Lincoln Rhyme. He had a great brain. All he could use was his brain because he was, in the bed the whole time. And so Dr. Alex Cross, he fits in that mold of the type of movies that I like to watch. So that's how I can like something like this. And also the sequel, as in Along Came the Spider. Like, I'm just interested in this type of shit.
I mean, I understand exactly what you mean. Like, those type of movies, it keeps you, you know what I'm saying, like, enthralled. You know what I mean? Like, you don't lose focus on those kind of movies because you are more so kind of challenging yourself to kind of solve everything before the movie is over. Or, you know what I'm saying, you trying to see if you could catch and see who it is before it's all said and done. So those type of movies, you know what I'm saying, it keep you involved in it, man. You know what I'm saying, it keep you, you know what I'm saying, attentive. But I think it's more so not only that, you also got, you know what I'm saying, the guy that's playing this intelligent detective who, you know what I'm saying, is a doctor, you know what I'm saying, a doctor, and, you know, he's like, you said, like a psychologist, and then it's Morgan Freeman, one of the greatest actors ever. So, you know, he's going to bring a certain pizzazz to it. And then, you know what I'm saying, another legend is Ashley Judd. Like, she does a great job acting in a lot of things that she does. So it's like, when you have, you know what I'm saying, like, the cast, to me, I feel like it always plays a part on how well a movie is going to do. And when you have certain actors in certain roles, it makes you want to watch it. Like, you know, you feel like Morgan Freeman is a very, very intelligent man. And then, you know, you see him in interviews and everything else. And then, so when you see him in the role as Dr. Alex Cross, it's not far-fetched for a guy like that to play that type of character. Because, you know what I'm saying, you know that he has a certain intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that, you know, when you watching these kind of, what is this, like a suspense crime movie? Is that
Yeah,
what you would put it
suspense,
up under?
crime, mystery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like anytime you get something like that and you get it to where it's an adaptation on top of, you know what I'm saying, you got some great actors and you got a nice cast in it, like you can't do nothing but watch the movie like this. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things that they come together and you know, you're not really mad at it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that I'm gonna tell you what my opinion on how I think he ended up being Dr. Alex Cross, which you got to think 7 came out 2 years before that.
Yep.
So he played that type of detective in 7. So I think that being in 7 and being like that type of detective that like you really like using your brain, and I think 7 showed, you know what I'm saying, Morgan Freeman in his way and able to play. Because I think that really everything he played, because when you really think about like Morgan Freeman, like when you think of the movies that he's played in, he's never been in a movie where he was just a flat out dummy. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like he's always been.
Yeah, like I think every movie he's played in it's always been like a role of, you know, a role of intelligence or a role of, you know what I'm saying, enlightenment. Like we can go as far back as Robin Hood when he did the joint, you know what I'm saying, Robin Hood with Kevin Costner. You know, he played the sidekick. I forgot what his name is. I want to say it was what was his name? It was Arabic. I'm gonna look it up. And find it. But even in that movie, he played a Moor in that movie, and he brought a lot of information to that movie that a lot of people didn't really know about. And so the story of Robin Hood has been told, you know what I'm saying, like so many different times. But when Morgan Freeman he comes to this role, he brings the knowledge and the history of Moors to this role, and he actually plays this role to the way it's supposed to be played. And so, like, if you ever watch that movie or if you remember anything about that movie, it was a scene when him and Robin Hood were sitting in, like, they were sitting on like a hill or something by a tree or whatever, and Morgan Freeman pulls out like one of those old time telescope things or whatever, or monoscope or whatever it's called, and you know he could see the King's army coming down to what's that shit called, Shire Forest or Sheer Forest or whatever that shit is, and Robin Hood looked at him and was like, he was confused, like, what the hell is that? And he was like, it's a monoscope or whatever he called it. So Robin Hood looked at it, and when he looked through it, he threw it down and he pulled his knife out and started stabbing. So Morgan Freeman was like, what are you doing? And he was like, he put it down and he seen they was still super far away. He was like, what kind of magic is this? He was like, it's not magic, it's glass and a tube. He was like, it's no wonder you guys made it out the Dark Ages. But it's like, that was just an ode to, you know what I'm saying, like to speak on the history of the Moors about how they helped the Britons come out of the Dark Ages. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying, even when he's with Jim Carrey, he plays God. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
crazy, dude.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Or taking it back to, you know what I'm saying, one of our favorite movies, you know what I'm saying, Lean on Me. He's playing Joe Clark. So it's just
Principal
like,
Joe Clark.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So like he's always in the role to where it's never, you know what I'm saying, like self-deprecating. It's never like playing it off. It's always a role of intelligence or superiority, or just like, you know what I'm saying, he's playing a role where he's at the best representation for himself.
Yeah, like, dude, he's been a president, and Angel Has Fallen, and then he was a president for a hot minute, and London Has Fallen, and Olympias Has Fallen. And he was like the vice president, and he was Speaker of the House, all types of shit like that. So he's always
he was the president in what's the one movie where the meteor was about to hit? He was the president in that too.
Oh shit, what was that? I know what you're talking about. But then, like when he played in Lucy, he was a professor in Lucy.
Yep.
So, yeah, and then when he played Lucius
Speaking
Fox,
of Lucy, that was a hell of a movie too.
That was a great movie. It really was. Damn, what's my shit called? He played Nelson Mandela, man.
Yep.
Like he's been all over the place, man. But him being Alex Cross, and like I say, like Along Came a Spider, like that movie is the
so
second.
I think it was. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I think the movie was Total Impact.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like he, being and even Along Came the Spider was another kidnapping type of situation.
Yeah.
And that ended up being the person that was working. Like, dude, okay. Now, I just thought of something. Something just popped in my head.
What's up?
What do James Patterson got with the person that's running the whole organization is the person that's working right beside Alex Cross? Because it was the same situation and Along Came a Spider.
I think it's more so. Excuse me. I think it's more so just the fact that you're never going to guess that would be the person to do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like watching that movie. Your first guess is never the cop. Your first guess is never the person that's walking with him side by side this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Helping them solve the crime. You never even think about that. You think that it's a couple guys that they showed in a couple scenes, you know what I'm saying? Or 2-3 scenes ago, it's that dude, the dude that keep looking at her funny, when really he just handing her a phone or she left her keys or some shit like that. But I think that's a great way to write a story. I think it's even a great way to turn it into a movie. If you think about it, the second time it happened, you still didn't think it would have been the guy that was working with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But like, it seems like that concept though is it's just funny that the movie that come out 4 years later is like really the same situation. The only difference is there was a child that was kidnapped, and the lady, the teacher, or I don't know if she was like a madam there. I don't know what she was, but no, she was a cop as well. And she ended up being the person that was orchestrating like the whole thing. So it really kind of ended up being kind of the same thing. But
you know who else? Who else took that? Who else took that format? Dan Brown. He did that with Da Vinci Code, and he did that with Da Vinci Code. What's the other one? Angels and Demons, and then I forgot what the last one is. I think it's Inferno.
Hold on, no.
He did it.
So
he
Dan
did
Brown
that same thing with
the
all
writer of
three
the
of them.
book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I remember Ron Howard did the
film.
No,
Ron Howard just directed it.
Just directed it. Yeah, that's what I was meaning. I said did the film. I couldn't think of the director.
Yeah, he just directed it. But if you read those books, it's the same shit. Like, not necessarily like somebody that's working with him, but it's somebody that he knows that's doing everything basically.
Yeah. You're right. And like, man, and to think about like, an actress like Ashley Judd, man, like especially like the run that she was having, like, man, because she ended up doing was it before or after? After she did Double Jeopardy after Kiss the Girl. And it was just like, but she had because when I think about like Ashley Judd, like a lot of her early shit, like even like it's like she was in A Time to Kill, but like she had a very small part in it. You know what I'm saying? She was in Heat, but she wasn't like in it like that.
Yeah.
But that was, but Heat was a big movie, like Natural Born Killers. Like she never was like hugely in a film. And it seemed like in Kiss the Girl, she had more
of
a bigger. Yeah, like she got more of a bigger role, and then like Double Jeopardy, like she was the one, even though she was alongside Tommy Lee Jones. You know what I'm saying? She still, like, it still was centered around her. Like right. Tommy was really the supporting actor in that film, even though he was the bigger guy. You know what I'm saying, with the bigger, attraction. But like she was able to, to really steal the scene, and then she ended up doing, Twisted and High Crimes. And dude, have you ever seen Bug?
Bug. I don't think I have.
You would know. When she was in that room with Michael Shannon the whole damn time, and it turned out to be this whole psychological thing where they thought bugs was in their skin, and they got knives and cutting into their skin, pulling these bugs out of them, and it wasn't really no bugs the whole damn movie. They was like
they was like
Michael Shannon.
I had to go back and watch it. I may have seen it.
That movie turned out to be stupid as fuck. Like like the whole time you sitting here like thinking like in your head like, oh man, that'd be crazy, man, if that was because he was saying like all of these wild scenarios of, like the government is doing this and they injected these bugs in us and we gotta cut them out and then it's like what it is like one of those situations where it's like when you with this person, that's kind of like you remember In the Descent, right? Where they was down in the cave. It was like in the cave there's no light. But she said, but like you start to see things that's not really there. Because your mind start playing tricks on you. Man, what they call that? I forget, it's a word, it's a term for it. But I forgot what it was. But like that's what that was. Like he was able to convince her that she had bugs in her. Yeah. Like she started thinking that she had bugs in her and she started cutting herself up, and then the whole like it came to the end of the movie and come to find out like there was no bugs. Like he was just nut back crazy. And, she after cutting herself open, all that type of stuff. But
that's interesting that you bring that up though, because that's kind of a situation that happens with, and we like since we speaking, it's like serial killers. Like that's something that happens with serial killers. Like that's another thing that, or that's another factor that we can bring into it as well. Like disturbia, and I think the word is disturbia. Don't get me wrong if I'm not saying it right, if that's not the right word. But it's that thought process of, like they become disillusioned about everything. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he had people locked up, and he was still thinking that having them locked up and forcing them to do things that they would eventually love him and they would eventually, have feelings for him, or they would eventually treat him the way he would want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? Like
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, like that would be for them. But for him,
he would. But
yeah, like basically, I'm catching you saying, yeah, like they would catch Stockholm Syndrome. So you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's another thing that, we kind of left out as well. You know what I'm saying? Like with the antagonist, like that's one of those things that a lot of these guys, especially when they're at that level, like it's real heavy in their life that they, like they go through these, these disillusioned thoughts and thinking that, that the woman likes them, or even like with stalkers and kidnappers and shit like that. Which he was actually a kidnapper, but like they think that these women like love them because maybe I guess he dropped the paper and she picked it up and she smiled at him. So now it's like he creates this huge fantasy in his head that she's flirting with him every time that she talks to him, or she might just come past and say hi to him every day because he's the only person that's on her way to the cubicle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like weird shit like that. But I just wanted to bring that up real quick because I think we forgot to add that in there.
Nah, that's a great point. That's a great point. I didn't think about it because like he probably wants them to get like that, like you said it right, for them to get Stockholm Syndrome to where they ended up falling in love with their not accuser, but the kidnapper and all that type stuff. And like my thing is like, what's your end game? Like, do you think it's going to be a situation where like, oh man, nah, I was gonna say something V for Vendetta, but I don't think it was like that type of situation. That was just a weird movie. But like, yeah, like what is the end game? Like, do you actually reveal yourself to this girl and you take her out of this cave and y'all gonna live this life together. And like, it's weird, but like, maybe he thought that, like, maybe Kate was supposed to have been that girl that was supposed to flip, but the thing was that he was pumping them with drugs though.
Mm-hmm.
So those girls wasn't actually themselves because he was pumping them with some type of drug. Because when they took her to the hospital, after she got found, from jumping in that waterfall thing, like they had to flush out her system of some kind of drug that he was using. So
yeah,
it's a weird situation. Like, people that think like that, and that's why I always tell people, like, man, like the people that we live amongst, because like this type of stuff ain't like far fetched. I remember like there was a situation in your state where
in Cleveland.
they made a thing. What was it? It was on like FX or AMC.
It was a Lifetime movie.
Something.
It was a Lifetime movie.
Yeah. And like this dude had like these. It was his
his
daughter.
He had three girls. He had 3 girls trapped in the basement. It was him and his brothers. They had 3 girls trapped in the basement, and one of them he had kids with.
Yeah, like, man, this stuff is wild, yo. Like we live in the world with these people, man. Mm-hmm. And like, so this whole story is not far fetched, man. Because it's like when. Yeah, and you see the history of a lot of stuff that these people have done, and like even when you think about serial killers, like these dudes, like some of these dudes was killing girls and cutting their heads off and giving themselves head with these girls' heads after they're dead. Mm-hmm. Like this stuff, like, it's weird, man. Like it's some weird dudes, man.
I mean, like think about the one dude who was I'm trying to think of who it was. He was picking dudes up and like having sex with them and killing them and storing them in the fucking freezer. Just to eat them. Like,
man, look, this is sick.
Yeah.
This is sick stuff, man.
I think what the thing is right. And that's like and like that example is like of the highest, you know what I'm saying, like the highest level of, you know what I'm saying, them being, serial killers or whatever. But it's like, even if you knock it down a few notches, like, it's people that, or okay, the perfect example, right? One of the movies that I usually go to and watch, because I think it's a pretty good movie, but you know what I'm saying, like Stepfather. This dude was literally going from town to town and basically recreating himself, giving himself a new identity, giving himself a new name. He was going around getting with these women and killing them just to take their fortune. And I mean, like, he played it off as like a nice dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a very great guy. He was helpful. He would cut the grass and fix stuff around the house. Like, he played it off as a real great dude. But then he would have those flashes in moments where he would just be super aggressive, or he would do something that's out of his so-called character that he was playing, and it would always, you know what I'm saying, like, you would always see like, oh shit, like something wrong with this motherfucker. So it's like, I think that people can kind of lead those dual lives, like, when they're out and about and in public, they're this nice person, they talkative, they fun, you know what I'm saying, they're easy to talk to, they give you great advice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, shit. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you even invite them over to your house, let them play with your kids and shit. And then they get home and, he unwrapping the dead body and talking to it for 30 minutes and wrapping it back up and putting it back up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just it's people like that that's out here, man.
Yeah, like, even when you think about somebody like, what's my man's name? Oh, man. And I made so many damn movies about him. Oh my God, I'm having my mind blank. What's the name? Zac Efron played him in that
Ted Bundy.
Netflix. Who?
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Damn, why can I not think of that? Ted Bundy was
Every time
working
I think of
with
it, I think of Al Bundy.
Don't do that to Al Bundy, man.
I know, man. I feel bad. I just hear Bundy. That's the first Bundy I think of is Al.
Oh man, I can't believe I just had a mind fart there. But like when he was in the state of Washington, and when those girls started going missing from Washington University, he was working with the cops, and he worked at the he was working at the police station, and he was working because he was a Republican. He was working with the Republican Party to get like the one dude like reelected or some kind of shit like that. So it's like he had like a normal life, like he was living a normal life, but then on the side he's kidnapping girls and like killing them and shit. So like the situation with this guy Casanova ended up being a cop. He was working with Dr. Cross the whole time, and it's just like these people are just like among us like now, and it's like, and then some people kill people for dumb shit like that one Netflix thing that just came out this year. What they called it, American Murder or whatever they call that joint. Yeah, my man kills his wife and 2 kids because he wanted to leave her and stay with his other girl. Like, dude, why you just can't get a divorce, my guy? Like,
or like, why can't you just leave her? You ain't got to get a divorce,
why can't you just leave her?
And change the name like all the rest of the old head dudes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, go ahead, take that L. You get your visitation or whatever, whatnot. But
you don't even got to do that. Well, apparently he didn't care about the kid because he killed the kid. But see, my thing is this: there was a point in time, right? And I don't really agree with this, but it happened. It was a point in time in history where a dude, only thing he had to do if he didn't want to be with his wife anymore is to say, hey, I'm going to the store to go get some bread. Or, hey, I'm going to the store to go get some cigarettes. And that nigga leave, go to the next state over, and they never seen that nigga ever again.
Yeah. Dude, that happened a lot.
Yeah, it was a good old day.
Dude, there's a lot of people who just, like, when you really listen back to their stories, and they'll just be like, yo, like, my pops just left. Like, never came back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listened to an episode of Knuckleheads today. They talked to the Iceman, George Gervin.
George
Gervin,
yep.
My pops just left. He was like, my mom raised the 6 of us by herself. Like, he just left and never came back. It's like you hear a lot of these stories of these dudes who just never come back, man. And then you might have a situation that's like Jalen Rose. And I brought this up on my podcast, man, and I was like, yo, like, he really didn't answer the question, but like, I was like, I guarantee you, because like when you think about the Jalen Rose story, right? So Jalen Rose mom basically just, you know what I'm saying, smashed an NBA player, got pregnant. And so it was probably one of those situations where he was just in that city, saw a girl, you know what I'm saying, she smashed, and then she ended up being pregnant. And then she has the NBA start. And
wait a minute.
When you
not just the NBA player, street ball legend.
Yeah. And then you think about like a lot of these dudes, man, that are in the NBA that don't know their father. Like you think like, damn, like I wonder was, you know what I'm saying? Because NBA players got around. So I was thinking like, I wonder if there's a lot of these dudes who just, their dad ended up being NBA players just as well, but they just don't know that like that's their dad.
I tell you what, though, I had said whose dad is sick right now? Who? Somebody's dad who hates themselves, LeBron James' dad.
You know, I was gonna bring LeBron up, but then like I remember a story a couple of years ago where LeBron said that he knew who his dad was and he met him or some kind of shit like that. But I'm not really sure. But like, cause I used to think the same thing. I was like, I wonder was his dad like, you know what I'm saying, NBA player?
I don't know. I don't think his dad was an NBA player, but I know he hates the shit out of himself right now though.
Oh yeah, like he kicking himself. Like big time.
Nah, he's ready to shoot himself. Kicking himself is not the word. That
oh man.
bro, can you imagine that? Like, you know what I'm saying? You just wake up one day, you sick of this shit. She always complaining. This little nigga still eating crayons. You just like, fuck this shit. I'm better than this. I'm better than this. Rent, you can't pay your rent and shit because you want to hustle, but you can't hustle because you're still on probation. You just say, fuck it, I'm going to leave. And 20 years later, this the greatest goddamn basketball player of this motherfucking decade. And you know who this nigga is? Like, you know that's your son. Like, there's no, I don't give a fuck if you ain't seen that nigga in a month or Sunday. You know that's your son. And you see that nigga on TV, and then the goddamn, you come home because you done finally found a job working at the plant. You throw the newspaper on the table, sit down, grab a beer, and turn to ESPN and see what they talking about. And then next thing you know, boom, this nigga face pop up, and he on the cover of fucking Sports Illustrated, and he only fucking 14. And you look like, wait a minute. You don't pay no attention. Then you kind of keep an eye on him because he look familiar. Then all of a sudden they say his name. And you was like, oh shit. Next thing you know, this nigga the number one draft pick. But before he got drafted, nigga got a $90 million contract with Nike. And you just sitting there looking stupid. Sitting there looking dumb.
Trying to get glory on the low.
Yeah, you smoked that whole pack of cigarettes. Just be like, God
oh,
damn.
Man.
Damn,
that's
man.
crazy.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Hey, but hey, that's why you gotta raise your kids, man. You gotta raise your kids.
Got to be there,
but
man. If not, speaking of, where the fuck was Naomi Cross's goddamn daddy at?
Dude, I have no idea, dude. All I saw
was her mama.
Her mom.
See?
So he must have dipped out on her as well, man.
Fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Now she done got kidnapped. Now her uncle got to come goddamn find her. It's fucked up, man.
Hey, but hey, I wish he was my uncle too. Hey, this motherfucker Porsche.
Speaking
man.
of, right? Since we on this, since I'm glad we doing this movie. What the hell was they thinking? Giving this role to Tyler Perry.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember because when we was doing the trailer, and I was thinking about when I first seen that he was about to be Alex Cross, because they named the movie Alex Cross, and I'm like, Tyler Perry, okay? Because at the time he only done one film where he wasn't, you know what I'm saying, Medea or, you know what I mean. Well, that wasn't one of his films. But that wasn't. Let me say that wasn't one of his films. He made a short appearance in the Star Trek movie.
No, he did too. He did too.
Was
he
it
was in the Ninja Turtles. He was also in the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, okay. So then I'm like, okay, and then I was like, well, I was interested to see him in something that wasn't him. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, when I seen it, I was like, oh shit! No, that was after Alex Cross. Never mind. I was about to say he was in one of my favorite movies, Gone Girl, but that was after Alex Cross though. But it was weird, man. I don't see him as a detective. I don't see him as like this smart.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way looking at him as Alex Cross as I do as seeing Jim from The Office play the one dude in that one TV show that came out where he was like a Marine or Army
Jack Ryan.
Some shit like
Dude, Jack Ryan is good, man. You gotta watch it. Listen,
but I can't. I tried.
Dude, it is so good.
I can't do it, bro.
It is so good, man.
I
finished like both seasons.
The whole time I'm just sitting there waiting for him to get interviewed to make a joke.
But you know he's doing more stuff like that though. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to take that turn because like a lot of the times like these dudes get smart cast. They get typecast into like, you know, well everything we put you in, you're gonna be a comedian type thing. And I think that, you know, when you watch somebody like, even though he gives you those comedic moments, when you watch somebody like Ryan Reynolds, like he did that. Steve Carell, I think like what Steve Carell was able to do in Foxcatcher, was crazy.
Yeah,
like I mean, it was
his
crazy,
dramatic,
man.
him doing dramatic roles has been very surprising. But he does a hell of a job.
That's one of the best movies I've seen a comedic actor play in.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you think about what's
the dude
name?
that plays Star-Lord?
In
Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris.
Which Chris is he?
He ain't Hemsworth.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I remember watching him on Parks and Rec, and that's all I could see when I first started watching him do other shit. And I'm like, yo, like, no, that's still the goofy dude from Parks and Rec. Like, I mean, it was for me, it was the same thing with I'm about to say Akash Singh, Aziz Ansari, even Childish Gambino for a minute. Like when I seen him in Atlanta, like it was kind of weird because it was like watching him, you know what I'm saying, in Community. I'm like, nah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just when you got that, you know, like when you got that role, man, that everybody know you from, especially like with The Office, because like he wasn't in anything else during The Office, so that's all we knew him from. So for him to go from that to Jack Ryan was like, oh, okay, you just flipped the coin and landed on some shit.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey in the number 23, like,
oh I mean, yeah,
he's playing this, like, dude, the number 23 was a great movie, man. So like, it's odd to, I mean, I get it, it's odd to see those type people, but I think that we have to give these people a chance, man, to show that they could, like we were talking about Elizabeth Banks last episode,
mm-hmm.
like she can go back and forth. She could do a comedy movie, a full out comedy movie, and then turn around and be like a psycho killer in the next movie and play that shit just as well as she played the comedic role. So
and then fuck around and play the villain in Power Rangers.
Yeah, that shit is wild.
She did a hell of a job.
So
real quick,
that she did.
We talked about Ashley Judd, man, and we talked about, you know, like the little run that she had in the late 90s, early 2000s, man. Like, you also got to remember, bro, she comes from royalty. She comes from acting royalty.
Oh yeah.
You know, so her mom, Naomi Judd, was, you know, saying she did her thing too.
Oh yeah. I remember her, man. And like she was like, Ashley was one of those, because anytime the parent is an actor, like everybody always put those expectations on you, and like a lot of people don't fulfill, you know what I'm saying, that role. She ended up being bigger than her mom though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. She ended up surpassing her. Like,
she also came around the time too, like where the big time, the box office movie actress was like the thing. Like, remember, like it was Jessica Love Hewitt. It was who else was it?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. I'm sorry. I was thinking of Jessica Alba too, but she was one of them who was real hot. She wasn't doing movies, but she had some TV shows that she was getting in. Like I remember Dark Angel. She had another one that she was doing. But I remember Jennifer Love Hewitt. She came from doing the Party of Five joint, and then like they turned her into a star. Courtney Cox was another one who they was turning into a star. She was coming off of Friends. I believe Minnie Driver was still hot at that time. What's the one that was the klepto? She got caught stealing in the store. Fuck, what is her name? I can't believe I can't remember who that was. Hold on.
But it seems like the role, like Jessica Biel, and like she was in Dawson Creek.
Yep.
Jason Vanderbeek was in that as well. You know, he didn't end up coming as big though. Like he had Varsity Blues, but it was kind of like You know, he was in, you know, a film here and there, but like it was never nothing like as big as like Varsity Blues. Though Jessica Biel she like really blew up.
Winona Ryder. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, Wyoming. Yeah. Yeah, she had. Yeah, I see.
She was real big around that time too. So it's like to have them and like they was getting movies. So like they was like the stars of movies. So for her to be able to hold her own around that time was really something.
Yoga fire, yoga flame.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But man, like the fire flame for me, man. Obviously, I mentioned, like I told you how I do my rating system, man. You know, when I think about stuff like The Negotiator, The Bone Collector, you know what I'm saying, shit like that, I can't help but to think about those type of films, and how highly I rate those type of films. And I think about this and like going back and rewatching it. I think it's still a good movie to sit down and watch. I mean, once, like, even you can watch the same movie and get something different. So from going back and watching it, it's still a really, really good film. But if I'm gonna put if I'm gonna put this movie into those type of categories, like, sadly, I'm gonna have to give it a 3.5. I don't think it stacks up with those type of movies, because when I think about The Negotiator with Sam L. and think about like The Bone Collector with Denzel and Morgan Freeman are up there, obviously, but it's just like the movie and the plot. You know, it ended up having a good sequel. I do like Along Came a Spider, but just when I think about those type of movies and the concept and all that type of stuff, I'm gonna have to put it a little lower than those, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
For me, man, you know, it's a, you know what I'm saying, it's a good late twist. You know what I'm saying, when he finds out, he finally solves the case for the way it's supposed to be solved. You know, you got a good cast. You got some Easter eggs in the cast, you know what I'm saying, with Bill Nunn and Billy Blanks and Tatiana Ali and, you know, the chick from American Beauty and all these other, you know what I'm saying, people. The story was pretty good. I think it was just, for me, more so it's just Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman makes pretty much anything good that he's in. I really don't sway away from anything that he's in, but it's not one of those movies that I would probably go back and rewatch, you know what I'm saying, like later on down the line. I don't know, maybe if I was like cleaning the house and it just so happened to come on, I wouldn't change the channel. Not really into it, but I'm familiar with it, so I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. All right, cool. Like we needed one of those, man. We've been doing a lot of 4 and 5s.
Yeah,
we've been doing a lot of 4 and 5s.
Now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong though. When I say 2.5 out of 5, just for the listeners, this is not a bad movie.
No, not at all. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just the fact of when we do our Fire Flames, we go as far as, you know what I'm saying, if it's rewatchable, no pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like, if, you know what I'm saying, the cast is great, you know, the story, the plots, you know what I'm saying, plot twists. You know, just depending on if it's a comedy, do you laugh a lot? If it's a drama, does it make you feel a certain type of way? If it's a suspense, if it's a thriller or horror, you know what I'm saying, how scared did it make you? How did it make you feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, we put a lot of different, you know what I'm saying, things into rating these movies. So if I feel like it's something that I'm never really going to like, if it's something I feel like I could do without, I got to give it the proper rating. You know what I'm saying? I got to give it the proper rating. That doesn't mean that to me it's a trash movie. It's just, it's not one of those movies that I'm just going to go back to at any given time.
Yeah, like, cause even when we get to that point, when we get to our worst movies
Yeah.
list, it's the crazy thing is like some of the movies like I rewatched them joints, but it'd be like, yeah, it would just be when we get there, you will see what I'm saying. But like, it's not stuff that I'll never watch again. It's like it's some stuff that's just so stupid. It's like you just gotta watch it again, type of thing.
Listen, I got my number one is so bad it's good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're not going there today, man. We're not doing it today.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, when I tell you that was the greatest cinema, put together cinema ever. You know what I'm saying? Special effects.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Special effects was amazing. You know what I'm saying? The acting was great. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not doing this with you, man. Don't lead these people on, man. Don't lead these people on. Don't do that.
Oh my gosh. Hey, man.
Oh, man.
Come on, man. It was great. Man. But yeah, man, you know, like I said, you really can't go wrong with Morgan Freeman, man. Morgan Freeman is just that dude. Like, he makes anything good. And the fact that he's the star of this movie, like, regardless of how you feel about it, you know, it is what it is. Like, it's a good movie. It didn't turn out bad. The actors did their job. Morgan Freeman, once again, did a hell of a job. So, you know, it's like, how can you really go wrong with Morgan Freeman?
Exactly. Like, and like I said, I'm with you, dude. Like, it is not a bad film at all.
Yeah.
But it's just, I put it in that category of, you know, the ball collector, the negotiator, because like you got these smart people, you know what I'm saying, playing these roles, man. Like when I think of you know, Lincoln Rhyme, and I think of oh man, what's his name? It wasn't Roman Pierce. It was Greg Roman, not Greg Roman. Dang, I can't remember what his name was in The Negotiator.
But
like,
you know what? You know another movie that's in that lane, and that kind of has that same vibe to it. Sherlock Holmes, the one that Robert Downey Jr. did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's in that same vein. That's in that same vein. He did a hell of a job as Sherlock Holmes. Those are actually some two great movies.
Okay. I seen a little bit of the first one. Mm-hmm. I didn't really see the second one. I never seen Sherlock Holmes all the way through. That's why I never really watched the was it Eleanor or something Holmes that they got on
with the little sister.
Yeah, I haven't got it. I haven't watched that because I never really got into Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But because when I think of like films like that, like in those time periods, like, have you ever seen The Raven? When John Cusack played Edgar Allan Poe.
Yep.
That shit was good. And like From Hell was good. That was about Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Johnny Depp played in that. Like, I'm more into that type of stuff when it comes to that time period of films. So yeah. Well, I see what you're saying.
The Raven was crazy though. Like to have a motherfucker that was using your shit to kill people, that was wild. Yeah,
The Raven was really good. A very underrated, man. Very underrated.
My only beef. My only beef about The Raven is they used John Cusack to play Edgar Allan Poe. He's too tall.
I see what you're saying. But like that's one of those type of things of like I think that we're more worried about like the mannerisms of a person that could really play. That's just like your girl Zoe, that played in like Drumline and
she did Nina Simone.
Yeah, exactly. She way too damn pretty to be Nina Simone, and she light skinned. but
yeah,
she could play the role though. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So I think that there was more looking at like, okay, we can dress him up and get him to look similar to him, but we're more looking for that mysteriousness. Like John Cusack can be very mysterious, and Edgar Allan Poe was like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that I see what you're saying, but like sometimes you're not going to be able to get everything.
Yeah.
To get somebody.
Well, my thing is that, you know what I'm saying, I understand why they use John Cusack, don't get me wrong, but like Edgar Allan Poe was like a little person.
He was rumored to be very short.
No.
But
not rumored to be short. He was a little person.
Man, why you gonna do that man like that, man?
It's true.
The man wrote a lot of good stories, man.
He did. And that don't take nothing away from his talent. When I seen the movie, I was like, oh, they got John Cusack playing as a little person. That's gonna be interesting. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, wait a goddamn minute. Nah, yeah, you can't do that. It's too many people out here who could have really played that part. Matter of fact, the dude from what is his name? The little dude. Man, I think wasn't he in Horrible Bosses too? No, that wasn't him. What movie was it?
Are you talking about my man? Are you talking about my man that was in Endgame? That did when Thor needed to get the axe.
Yep.
Man, get out of here, man. You wrong,
He could have
man.
did a hell of an Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe wasn't that short.
Bro, you think I'm joking? Edgar Allan Poe was a little person.
Man, he was not a little person, man. He was just short, man.
Bro, Edgar Allan Poe was a little person. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you. Edgar Allan Poe was a little person.
Oh, man.
You got to think, back in those times, they didn't have no name for it. So they just said he was short. But he was a little person. He was under 4'11".
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Watch this. I'm about to Google how tall was. Man, hold on. Hey Siri. How tall was Edgar Allan Poe?
Okay, I found this on the web for how tall is Edgar Allan Poe. Check it out.
You're supposed to give me the answer, bitch. I don't even think they're gonna show it.
Man, you is not. Man, he was 5'8", man.
They lying. They lying.
I didn't think he was a little person. I just looked it up.
That motherfucker was 4'8".
They said he was 5'8".
He was 4'8".
He wasn't no damn 4'8".
Man, listen.
Man, he was 5'8".
Listen, they lying because he's one of the greatest writers of all time. But I'm telling you, he was short as shit. He was a little person. You want to know who else was almost a little person? William Shakespeare.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Mark Twain was 5'9".
I don't think Mark Twain was a real person.
Oh hell! See, now we can't go down this road, man.
Listen, I think you know how they did the name with what's off of Shutter Island? How they did the anagram with the name or whatever that shit called?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know his real name is like Samuel Clemens or something like that. Mark Twain is his like author name. That's what I said. I don't think that was a real person. They say his real name is Samuel Clemens, so called, and he looked like the Colonel from KFC.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, he looked like Colonel Sanders. I think they on some bullshit, man. Have you ever read Huckleberry Finn?
In school, man, I never like read it by myself.
Bro, That's the first time I ever read it, and I got the part where he was talking to the little black dude, and I had to say the word nigger out loud, but that was the most oddest shit in fucking world. I had to read that shit in English class. I was like, man, I can't say that. She was like, my teacher was like, no, go ahead and say it. I was like, come on, man. But I read it though.
But you wow, but
You,
oh man. So man, you gonna start this trailer out, man?
Coming soon on video and DVD.
Yeah, man. You know, when this movie first came out, nobody thought it could be done. You know, it's one of those movies that it started a fucking, man, this shit started a fucking roller coaster ride of emotions and hopes and dreams that all end up coming true. And we got so much good out of this shit that, I mean, it's like, damn. Shit, you really can't even be mad. The only thing that sucks about it is the movie that started all of this off was just a subpar version of the person that I fuck with. So I wasn't really hype about that movie, but I thought they was gonna do a remake since they was doing, you know, all these other movies surrounding this movie. They never did it. I'm kind of pissed about it. But good news is they got some stuff coming out, you know what I'm saying, a little bit later. We'll talk off air about that. I'm hype about it. But this movie was the one. It introduces some new characters. It introduces one of the characters that we love. We talked about him not too long ago, you know what I'm saying, which is super dope. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the impact that, you know what I'm saying, said person had. And then
Hold on. You gotta stop. I thought we were doing the first one.
That is.
That wasn't in the first one.
He is in the first one.
Oh, well, you might be thinking, hold on. All right, go ahead. My fault. I thought you was.
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
remember,
okay.
This is all four of them. And
okay, yeah. I'm thinking about the other. Okay, yeah.
See, now I know what you're talking about because the way that they did the order of everything, all of this shit gets mixed up, right? Because I thought one of the movies that came out was supposed to be that movie that was also. So I know exactly what you mean, but let me tell you something, man. This caused the craze. This started a revolution in cinematography. I almost said what kind of movie it is, but I can't because that's definitely gonna give it away. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut and let you continue, brother.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me to do this episode is because obviously we're talking about something that's because I said the first one. Mm-hmm. So this obviously there's been more movies made after this one, and it's going to be so hard not to mention the other ones because we see a situation get resolved. So it's kind of it's going to be hard for me not to mention the other ones because we know. Oh, but I was about to say something, but that was
we know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We end up getting to find out what happens with everything. I think we can kind of talk about the ones before that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a few movies before that.
You mean that got us to that point?
Yeah.
Because
it's like 3 or 4.
Hard it'd be hard to say with. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But I'm excited to do it. It's just my thing is it's going to be. Well, this is something that we could talk about because we could mention some of the stuff that we ended up finding out. I don't think it's going to hurt anything.
Nah, but I mean we can do it however you want to. Really, to be honest with you,
but it started dude. It really started
if you think about it, the last one kind of went back to the first one. Yeah, so there you go. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that makes sense. So we can just go ahead and just knock all that out.
All right, cool. But that's gonna be wild, man. That's gonna be wild. So, and this next one, man, like I say, this started like, man, this shit like started like a revolution, man. Like it started something that it changed cinema really like forever because like they was able to get a group of people who was a good bit of them was A-list actors. Some of them was on their way up, and like this took them over.
Two of them were.
Yeah, two of them were for sure. And then the other two on their way.
They were two of them were. One of them was like B-list, and at the time the other one was like C-list. But
we'll reveal that to the people later. But like now, because I was thinking about like trying to zero it in on that one, but like now with you saying that, oh man, this episode is gonna be crazy, dude.
It's gonna be everywhere, man. That motherfucker gonna be everywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Y'all get ready, man. Y'all get ready.
Yes, sir. And also, man, you know, I did what I said I was gonna do last episode. I did that, man. I put out episode 28 minutes or less, man. My part 2 of Cuddy Saved My Life, man. It was, you know, very, very personal episode I put out there, man. So please go check that out on all major platforms, the 28 minutes or less podcast. And also, man, I just finished it last night. I put together my top 10 albums of the year. You know what I'm saying? That's something I do every year in December. I've been doing it for the past 3 years.
Yep.
What I'm thinking about doing this year, man, I think I'm gonna mix match it, man. I think it's gonna be like a double feature type of joint. I think I'm gonna put it on the Stolen Time podcast and I'm gonna put it on the 28 minutes or less because I got 2 different fan bases. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put that out on both platforms. So be on the lookout for my top 10 albums of the year. And so go follow the Stolen Time podcast page on Facebook, Stolen Time Pod on Instagram, and S.Foster8 on Instagram. You can get all the links there. And so be on the lookout for that top 10 albums of the year episode.
For sure, man. Check me out, man, at Scoots Bronson on Twitter. You catch me at Scoots Bronson _TV on Instagram. Go check out my podcast, 15 Minutes of Fame. Last episode I did with the homie Cheese Navy, rapper out of Miami. I got a few episodes lined up that I'm actually recording right now, so those will be out very soon. I got another special one that I got coming up with my guy, S. Foster. I don't know, man. I'm thinking that I'm trying to think of how I want to do it because I'm not doing it in the original. I don't want to do it in the original format that I usually do. So we'll get together and make something happen. But that's what's been taking so long. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna exactly put this together. And then, Isolated Society is coming back this week. So, you know what I'm saying? You guys just be open, be ready. Go to Scoots Bronson Media on Facebook. You can go to that page. I won't be doing it in podcast form at this time because I had some technical issues. So that's why the episodes haven't been loading. So instead, I think I'm going to just go back to doing the live version. And then I'll probably work in the call-ins and comments later on down the line. So for right now, that's how I'll be doing it. But yeah, I had some issues loading up all my episodes that I was recording. I thought I was actually putting them out. Come to find out, none of them was actually dropping. So yeah, I got like 3 episodes that's just sitting in the tuck. So I'll probably like release them later on down the line on some other shit. But yeah, man, that's all I got, man. Make sure y'all go to that Viewers Anonymous Pod Watch Group page on Facebook. Make sure you add yourself in there, man. Become a member. you know what I'm saying, join up. You can get all the information that we got from there. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. But once we get up to 100 people, man, we're going to start doing Facebook. We're going to start doing live watch parties, man. We're going to pick a movie. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give y'all a selection. Watch the movie with y'all. Do a podcast about it. All that kind of good shit, man. I don't know. Who knows? We might even invite one of the people from the page on to do the podcast with us. So, you know what I'm saying? You never know, man. We just want to help get this community built up. We're trying to get that audience built up because, you know, we can't be the only two dudes that like movies. So, you know what I'm saying? I know everybody loves movies, man.
Well, we got a guest that wants to jump on 2 episodes, man, coming up next month. So, so be on the lookout for that, man.
Yeah, we finally got.
And also, I got an idea of something that I wanted to run by you off film.
Okay, cool.
Off live.
Hey, look, he's so locked in, man. He said I'll film, but that's how you know he's a professional, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you know that man is a professional. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Outside of that, man, listen, man. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating. We would greatly appreciate it. It helps out. You know what I'm saying? Our algorithm, it helps to get us to the top. That way people can find us a little bit faster. If they aren't listening to this, for those who aren't sharing it, you know what I'm saying, the best thing for you to do, or the easiest way for you to share it is to leave us a rating. So please do that. Man, and with that said, man, thank you guys as usual. We appreciate you guys for listening. And that's all I got, bro. How about you?
That's it, man. That's all I got, man. Just be on the lookout, man. I got to throw these albums at everybody, man. So be on the lookout for that.
That's what's up, man. So if you're listening to this, man, go listen to, you know what I'm saying, his list. I'm sure that he's going to have some feedback on that because anytime somebody put a list together, it's never nothing good. So, you know what I'm saying, hit my man up. Make sure y'all listening to him. Make sure y'all paying attention to that list. You know what I'm saying? Hit him up with that feedback, man. Let him know what y'all think about his list, man. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, like they say in the movies, man, it's a wrap.
Cut.